Hi, everyone. I'm Cecilia Curtis, and I want to welcome you to the Friendship Tour podcast, where we talk about the true gift of friendship with some of my truest friends. We talk about making friends, keeping friends, and everything in between with the hopes that we can all enjoy that community and sisterhood that we need and want. Today's guest is Alberta Curtis Minters from Chesapeake, Virginia. She's a retired art teacher, a lifelong minister of music, and editor in chief of the Grams of Faith news magazine. But you know what else she is? She's my mother in law, and she's the grandmother of my children. And she also happens to be the most thankful, most grateful, most positive person I know. And with this week being Thanksgiving, it just felt right to talk to her today. Hi, Ma.
Hello, Cecilia. How
How are
are
you?
I'm great. Thank you. Mhm.
You look lovely. Thank you for saying yes to being here today. I know you stay very busy, so thank you for making time today.
You are absolutely welcome, and I am honored to be one of your guests.
Well, I was out with some friends a couple of weeks ago. I went home to Delaware and I was out with some of my childhood friends, and we started talking about you, honestly. Over the years, they've heard me say that you're very positive, you're very thankful, you're very affectionate. And they've all known me since, second, third, fourth grade. And they know that some of those things do not always come naturally to me, particularly the affectionate part. They know those things about me. So over the years, they've heard me say these things and they find my stories about some of our interactions to be amazing and funny, honestly.
Okay.
Um, but one of my friends in particular, she said, I really think that you should have your mother in law on the friendship tour to talk about being thankful and positive because we all need that right now. This time in our nation, this time in our lives, we need just a little more positivity. So I listened to her, and all the other friends were like, yeah, yeah, do it, do it. So that's why we're here today, because they've heard about you, but they've never heard from you. So I wanted to just talk to you about thankfulness and positivity and all those good things. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well, you've listened to the podcast, and I'm very thankful for that. Thank you for being so supportive. The first thing I have to ask you is, do you remember meeting? Do you remember how or where we met?
Okay. Now, keep in mind that I am up in age, and my memory is not as good as it was 20 years ago. But we met, I believe, when you came to Virginia Beach. Well, number one, Brian kept talking about Cecilia from Delaware. He just kept talking about her. And so you happened to be visiting a friend, I believe, in Virginia Beach, and you came to our house. I think it was maybe a 4th of July or some holiday. And that's the first time that we met. But my strongest memory of you is when we went to Brian's graduation and you met us and you just took us exactly to where we were supposed to. I mean, just very, just, I, you had it together, took us directly where we were supposed to go to, for his graduation. And I mean, I have to say, I've been impressed with you forever. So there.
Aw. Well, thank you. I guess you answered kind of two questions in one, where we met and your favorite moment together. Can I tell you my favorite moment with you?
Absolutely. I'm anxious to hear that.
It wasn't actually a moment, it was a period of time. So when Brian and I were overseas, we didn't get to see you all that frequently, but you came to visit us in Germany with Mr. Minters, your late husband. You came to visit in Germany for your birthday. And I don't remember which birthday it was, but you came and you stayed for 2 weeks. So that was probably the longest period of time you had ever stayed with us up to that point, and we hadn't seen you in a long time. And we were in Europe. So we just got to have fun together. I think we went to the new Schwanstein Castle in Bavaria,
Hmm.
and that was a lot of fun. We went to lunch in Austria one day. We went to one of the hotels and had a nice brunch. And I think we went to Bruges in Belgium. We just spent 2 weeks going around having fun. And I felt like you let your hair down a little bit and we just relaxed and had a good time. And I really enjoyed it. I will always cherish those moments together, the four of us. I thought it was just a really nice time.
Well, I gotta say that was a wonderful time. I just feel I've always felt so warm in your presence. You're exceptional, and I might as well say this about the podcast. You know that both of my husbands have are deceased.
Yes.
I'm 77 years old now. And you guys, just listening to your podcast, make me wish, well, okay, maybe wish is a strong word, but make me miss that connection that I was blessed to have with both Brian's dad, who passed away in 98, and Mr. Minters, who passed away in December 21. Just listening to you and Brian interact, watching you interact when I'm in your presence, you guys inspire me. Yes.
Well, you've inspired me in so many ways, and that's why you're here. Like, I don't think, again, I don't think I'm naturally as positive as you are. I don't think I'm naturally as thankful and affectionate, but I've known you for 20 something years now. And honestly, it's not just you. You know, you're a representative of your whole family today.
Hmm.
But all of you are just super duper positive. And over time, you've rubbed off on me, and I'm thankful. I may not be where you guys are, but over time you've rubbed off, and I'm thankful for how my life has changed as a result of being in your
Wow.
presence and as a result of being in your family.
Wow.
But I just need to know, like, why are you so thankful? Where does that come from?
Well, Cecilia, um, I believe God. I know I grew up with my six sisters. My parents taught us to love the Lord. And my thankfulness comes from what He has done for me. I know He saved my soul, but as a 9-year old, I started praying, asking God to help me to play the piano. We couldn't
Hmm.
afford one. Uh, I played at church, practice at church because my mom cleaned the church. So I was every time she was over there, I was over there banging on the piano. And by the time I was 11, I was playing for the Sunday school.
Hmm.
I prayed and asked God to bless me with a piano. Well, when I was 15, the Lord blessed one of the ladies in the church who knew that Thelma's girl wanted a piano. She knew someone who was moving and wanted to give one away. So she came to the house and said that the man wanted to give us a piano. And that, God answered my prayer as a 15-year-old. I had been praying for since I was 9, I'm sure. And then since that time, He has answered so many prayers in my life. So I can't help but be thankful.
Hmm. I mean, I didn't know the story about the piano. That's such a beautiful story. And I can certainly, people don't know what an amazing musician you are. I said you're a minister of music, but you're also a composer, you're an author. I mean, you're just a very, very, very talented person. So I can certainly understand that longing and desire you must have had as a child for a piano, knowing how musical you are. I understand how your faith was strengthened when God showed up with a piano for you. I
Yes.
absolutely understand that. Why do you think it's important to be thankful?
I find that the more I'm thankful, the more I find to be thankful for. Now,
Hmm.
I can't say that I've always been that way because things happen in your life and you get frustrated and you don't know why this is happening. But if I dwelled on the things that went wrong in my life, I would continue to see more things that are going wrong. But
Yes.
if I turn the corner and start looking at the things that I'm grateful for, guess what? I just keep on seeing more things I'm grateful for, and I really thank the Lord for that. Um, it works in life. You don't have to make yourself think of things. You look and they're there. You
Yeah.
know, my daughter and her husband, my son and his wife, my grandchildren, and I could go on and oh, don't get me started on that. But there's just so much. It's just too much for me to be thankful for, even in spite of the things that are going wrong. Losing my husbands and so forth. But God, through that, God is still good. So that is why I am thankful, because I have somebody to be thankful to.
Amen. Amen. Well, I think you just hinted at this a second ago, but can you think of a time where you didn't feel thankful?
Cecilia, why did you have to ask me that? Okay. You wanted to know, and I don't know if you know this story or not,
Okay.
but in 1969, I was working. I had my first real job, and I was saving my money to buy a car. Didn't have any experience driving, but I took the driving test 3 times and did not pass it because I could not park. I mean, I just expected the Lord. I mean, I'm serious now. This is really kind of doesn't make sense. But I expected the Lord to just let me back that car in and parallel park, but He didn't. And you talking about somebody disappointed and frustrated and so forth. So what I did, I just said, okay, I'll just keep on saving my money and I'll get an apartment. So the next year, in 1970, June 6th, as a matter of fact, I moved into my first apartment. The 4 days later, the young man that helped me move had a little Firebird. He took me to the before we took the driving test. He let me practice parking. And that Friday, I got my apartment June 6th. On Friday, I got my license. Can you believe that? So that 69 Camaro or Firebird, I don't know which one it was, that I really wanted, I couldn't get because all my money was tied up in my apartment with the furniture and so forth. But guess what? In July, I bought a 65 Ford. Oh, not a new car, 65 Ford. In August, I met the man that I married, Sam Curtis. So God, he knew that if I had gotten my license, I would have gotten that 69 Camaro or Firebird, probably Firebird. I think that's what I wanted. And I wouldn't have had money to get an apartment. So that in the subsequent years, I often think about that, how God has a plan. Well, he had a plan for my life and he still does. So I have to repent for my anger and disappointment for not getting my driver's license at that time. But God, I thank God that He, in spite of my wanting my own way, He allows me to realize that He knows what's best for me. And if I just be still and just wait, He'll work it out in His own time, and He'll bless me beyond my imagination. And He surely blessed me with Samuel Curtis. Now you can look at your husband and your sister-in-law and know that that was a blessing. So that is a time when I wasn't thankful, but it turned out to be one of the most um, thankful things that I've had in my life.
So I just want to make sure I understand.
Okay.
I did not know that story,
Okay.
but it is 2024.
Yes.
I asked you, can you think of a time you weren't thankful? And you told me a story from 1969.
1969. Mm-hmm.
So
Sorry.
that is the time we're talking about, that you remember not feeling thankful. And this is what I've been getting at with my friends. Like, that is an extreme amount of thankfulness, that you have to go all the way back to 1969 to think about not being thankful for not getting your driver's license as a young woman.
Yeah.
Um, so for everyone listening, like, that's the kind of positivity and thankfulness and faith that has rubbed off on my life since I was 18. I won't, because like you said, if you feed the negativity, you'll just end up in a negative place. But I can give you things I wasn't thankful for yesterday or even this morning. I won't talk about them, but you're going
Mm-hmm.
back to 1969. That's incredible. that is that is remarkable, really, truly remarkable. Um, and I'm thankful for your example and thankfulness. I'm gonna be thankful for. I'm gonna go at least a year. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try to go at least a day without griping about something. That's my commitment after this call. At least a day. If you can go from 1969 to 2024, I can go at least a day.
Wow.
I can do
Okay.
it.
Mhm.
Well, what would you say to someone who's having a tough time being thankful, a tough time finding something to be thankful for? Because not everyone has your level of faith and
Mhm.
your level of thankfulness. And just being honest, life is tough. Like life is tough for a lot of people right now. What would you say to someone who's just having a tough time finding something to be thankful for?
Okay. Number one, realizing that bad stuff happens all the time. It happens to me. I'm not saying that I'm on cloud nine all the time because I'm not. Sometimes it takes something to make me, hey, wake up, stop. God has this. And so I come back to where the place where I am. So if I were to bump into someone today who is not thankful, and I can understand how they are not, I believe I would take them by the hand. Just let's just sit here for a couple of seconds, and then I would say, okay, I hear you. I know where you are. I've actually been there myself. But right now, I just want you to think of one thing, one thing that you're glad about in your life. I think that's the way I would start, And if you remember, Mr. Minters would always say he hated to hear people say things could be worse. And
Mm.
that's just one of those things. But that's what gets me through my tough times sometimes because I know that things could be worse. But for that person who's just feeling disappointed, hurt, um, unthankful, I would try to pull them, not drag them, but gently guide them to a place in their life where even today they can find something to be thankful for. Probably there's a million things going wrong, but what about that right there? How about that? Are you glad that that's the way it is? I believe that that's what I would do. And I believe that I could gently guide someone from that place with the help of the Lord now to a place of thankfulness. Hmm.
I love that.
Oh,
Well, how would you say thankfulness impacts friendships or relationships in general?
I think that when a person is thankful, they see their friends, their uh, relatives as human beings, fallible just like I am. I mean, none of us are infallible. Okay. So, with that in mind, being thankful for who you are, recognizing that you are this independent, uh, take no mess lady. You are. You're an independent, take no mess lady. That's the way I see you, and you speak your mind, and I appreciate that so much. But if I wasn't a thankful person, I probably would be offended or something like that. But
Oh, geez.
because I'm a thankful person and I recognize that individuals are different. People handle things differently. People respond to things differently. I think being that part of thankfulness helps me to um, be friendly and to get along with people just a little bit better, as opposed to finding something to complain about. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Um, it does, but it also raises a couple other questions.
okay.
So if you weren't as thankful, uh, it sounds like you're saying if you weren't as thankful, you and I would have a tough time together because I'm offensive as a person.
No, 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 no. You're just a frank person. You
I
just
am a frank person. That's
you're
true.
just a frank, and I respect that, Cecilia, so much because you don't put on airs. You know what I mean. You don't try to modify your who you are to coddle somebody else, which you should. I mean, none of us should. We should be who we are. But and you are in a respectful way, and I appreciate that. I do.
And moving on.
Okay.
No, I think we've learned a lot about each other over time, and we respect one another for our differences and our similarities.
Yes.
And yeah, I think we have a great relationship. I mean, as a woman, it's not always easy to navigate relationships with your in-laws,
Yes.
and particularly with your mother-in-law. Sometimes
Yes.
with a sister-in-law that can be tough too, but
Mhm.
it is just well documented that it is difficult for women to navigate relationships with their mother-in-law. So over time, and all my friends will tell you this is true, my biggest um, comment about my mother in law has been your overwhelming positivity. Overwhelming positivity. So I would say if that is the thing I have to complain about most with my mother in law, then I am extremely thankful. I am
Wow.
extremely thankful for that.
Yeah.
So thank you for being a wonderful mother in law. I'm super thankful for you as a mother because you raised my amazing husband. You're a
Yeah.
great grandmother. And yeah, I'm just thankful for you. Thank you for being a good, strong woman of faith who has shown me areas of improvement in my own life. I don't ever really say that to you, but I'm watching, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm changing.
Okay.
So
Wow.
thank you for being you. Happy Thanksgiving. I love you and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Love you too. All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.